We got Jay Mila Marketing and Social Media. Alan looks like he's ready to come on stage. So Alan Austin, Managing Director. Got John Kim. Everybody knows John, right? And you got myself, Director of Strategic Partnerships, and then there's this other guy. He's coming on stage too. All right, John Kim's going to be moderating this panel.
Hang on. No,
all right, sit down, boys.
That's all right. You go back.
John's going to be posing the questions, and we will go from there. We'll use as much time as we could possibly use before we put you all to sleep, and we have about 30 minutes or so we'll go from there.
Sorry, John, just one quick thing. We knocked up some QR codes, so if you want to check out the Litecoin Foundation website, it's the one that says Litecoin Foundation website. And also, if you want to help and sponsor or donate to any of the special projects and innovations, you can go to light.space, which is the blue one, blue QR code, and help people like Loshan get paid. That's a running joke from the last time I spoke. Thank you so much. Sorry, John. Good job.
All right, guys, we have come to the end of this summit. I know everybody's tired because I'm fit and I'm tired, okay? I had to go take a quick nap. So everybody, let's do this real quick. Just get up 1 second, let's shake it, and give a little bit of energy.
What are we shaking?
Shake it. Yeah, there you go. All right, everybody awake?
That'll work.
All right, let's sit back down. Let's finish it strong. These men are the ones that are in charge of making Litecoin and the foundation and also the summit possible. So I'm very grateful that I do most of the work, but I don't like attention. So I try to be as humble as I can and trying to give the glory back to these people who are pretty lazy.
But it forward.
Just letting you know. All right, so we're going to go. I want everybody to do a quick intro of who they are and what they do for the foundation, and we'll get started with the panel.
Yeah, so David Schwartz, Director of Strategic Partnerships and whatever you want to call it, for putting on the summits here along with Alan.
Well, skip me.
Charlie Lee.
Who?
We wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be possible to be here today without Charlie's support. So big thanks for that. Alan Austin, Managing Director of Litecoin Foundation.
And I am Jay Mila. I'm the Director of Marketing. I've been here for less time, I think, than everybody else here, but I think there's something inherently special about what we're doing here, and I want to say a little bit more about that later.
Jay. He may have been here for the shortest time, but he's had a great impact. There you go. That's a nice thing to say. I'm Robbie Coleman. I'm the Creative Director of Litecoin Foundation, and I stalked Charlie in 2018, so that's when I started. Thank you.
All right, guys, from what I hear, there might be a pretty surprise at the end. So if you want to leave in the middle of it, all right, you're going to miss out on breaking news. I don't know what it is. Nobody told me, but I heard there's going to be a breaking news. So try to stay until the end, okay?
Wasn't me.
Pinky promise? All right. Now, I got this phone on here because I have inside information from Nancy Pelosi about Litecoin. So I'm looking at the charts to make sure if it blows up, I'm going to tell you right now that Litecoin just went crazy, okay? Me and Nancy, we go way back, okay? All right.
I knew it.
First question to every one of you is have you found the most recent bear market easier or more difficult to get certain things done versus maybe the past ones?
Yeah, I know for me, from the partnership side, it actually is easier because there's less noise to have to worry about. There's less questions having to do with the price necessarily as it's going on a trajectory up, and there's time for all of these other companies and entities that are focused on building during that bear market. So if you've been around for a while, those bear markets are where that's where they get things done. It's not necessarily during the bull market. It's when everything's nice and quiet. People are focused on something else, and they're able to add infrastructure or other things to the products that they already have. So that's my experience anyway.
Anyone else?
Well, we've been having a bear market for quite a while now, so we've been working really hard.
No.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add, I agree. I mean, there's a lot less noise. It's definitely easy to focus. I mean, on the other side of it, bull markets create excitement, and what we find is a lot of people want to all of a sudden get involved in different projects and things like that. So there is that side, but that also means kind of filtering through a lot of the noise and things like that. So it's a good question. I mean, there's a little bit. Probably at the end of the day, it's probably the same. It doesn't really matter. We do what we have to do.
I think bear markets are a great opportunity to probably like calcify or solidify, there's no real good word for it, but the Litecoin community, because when there's less noise, I guess there's the ability to focus on one asset at a time. And I think the other thing, and I'm just sort of earmarking this for the next time we go through a very bad bear market, I think because there's less competition, you can actually have quite a bit of impact in being part of a community, seeing it through a tougher time and then seeing the upside afterwards. It does feel very good and less hypey. And that's one of the things I like about Litecoin, is that it's not hypey. And it never has been really. And I've been around since the start of the summits. So that's one of the things I like about it.
Sorry. I usually like to be mic'd up. We've been in this bear market, and I'm trying to put on a smile every day. You see that smile? Yeah, that's fake.
Yeah, John.
But I want to know, how hard is it to market a fully decentralized network? Can somebody take that question?
Yeah, I could take that one. So I just mentioned there's something inherently special going on here. If you look at this as a bear market, and then you kind of say, okay, how hard is it to market what it is we're doing? But you actually go and look at the activity that's happening in this community, and not only from the community, but in every single metric that's out there. There have been 62 million transactions in 2024, and it's July. I mean, there was a year that we had 39 million transactions in the entire year. We've had 64 million, it's only halfway through the year. The amount of activity there was a panel earlier on ordinals. There's 26 million ordinals right now, and they were just added to Litecoin last year. You know how many people it takes to really want to utilize the things that people just invented? It's not on your phone in an app and you just press a button. There's very strict Litecoin core things where you need to download 130 gigabytes to a computer and run MWeb. And there are daily transactions on MWeb that growing and growing and growing. Just yesterday, Sentiment published numbers. There are over 8 million people holding Litecoin in wallets. And they compare it to all these other altcoins that are in the top 10. And Litecoin is millions ahead of Dogecoin holders and ADA holders and a whole laundry list of other ones. So if we're all out there to get rich quick, this is not really what's going to happen. If we're trying to disrupt the financial industry and we're trying to invent something that people really want to use, they're using it. And they're using it more and more every single year.
Anybody else want to chime in on that, maybe?
Yeah, best marketing is utility, right? So the more people that are using it, that is marketing. And it's marketing in the sense that you have individuals speaking to others about it. There's no way that happens otherwise. I mean, when he's talking about numbers like 62 or 64 million transactions already happening in 1 year, I remember just not even 4 years ago, when I was looking at some of these numbers, I get excited at the fact that there was 80 million transactions total in the entire lifetime, right? So if you're looking at 60-something million in just 5 or 6 months or 7 months, that trajectory is not going to be slowing down. It's going to be speeding up, right? So somewhere along the line, the word's getting spread. Market cap is completely different than utility, and marketing is not tied directly to monetary. It's tied to utility first, okay? But monetary does play a role in that. So if there's anything we could probably, look at trying to improve on, it's probably the marketing for both. But ultimately, the marketing on the utility is the thing that's going to be longer lasting. And that's my opinion, but I feel that's how it will be.
All right, so I was staying with Alan this past month, and I saw him dealing with Litecoin's 501(c) in the United States. Can you speak to us a little bit about the difference between the one in Singapore and now the new one in the United States, and how that affects the donations and everything like that?
Share your pain.
Yeah, so Litecoin Foundation has been, it started in 2017 as a Singapore entity. I think it was about a year and a half back, we actually registered Litecoin Foundation Inc. In the U.S., and we had, I think we announced this last summit. We did receive 501(c)(3) recognition with the IRS, which is pretty amazing because it was quite a process to get that done, and it's not that easy right now. For anybody that doesn't know what that means, it means the U.S. people can donate to the Litecoin Foundation Inc. and receive a tax benefits, tax write-offs because of that. This is really important especially for larger donors and corporations and others donating. A lot of people aren't going to donate if they can't get some kind of tax incentive. So this is a really big thing. We had kind of waited to roll it out because one of the biggest challenges, believe it or not, with our U.S. Company was getting a bank account. It was sort of happened right about the time everything was shut down. And we were literally being told no to a bank account simply because we were in the crypto space. And we're as easy as it gets, right? We're not a brokerage. We don't handle money for anybody. We're not an exchange. We're literally a nonprofit that so happens to support cryptocurrency, being told no. Fortunately, we just recently did get a bank with Western Alliance Bank. In fact, the folks, I don't know if they're here right now, but they actually came to our event. And they've been great, and they're really fighting for, on behalf of crypto and pushing this. So we're seeing a lot of progress with that. So just real quick, so with the new bank, we're going to start rolling out the ability for people to donate to the 501(c)(3) who can take advantage of the tax benefits. It'll be an automated process where they can receive the receipts they need and everything else. And we'll be talking about that more later. But I think this is really big in terms of being able to donate because everything we do is driven by donations.
Mr. in Crypto. We love you. All right. I'm very curious about this one. Like each one of you, what are you guys the most passionate about being implemented or highlighted on Litecoin? MWeb, Ordinals, or something else? Can we start with you, Mr. Australia?
Don't ask me. I'm biased. Well, I think philosophically, MWeb, or a version of MWeb, or MWeb being utilized in some way, I think is definitely the top of my list. I don't mind the idea of ordinals. I mean, they take up a bit of space in the block, but our transaction fees are still low, still the lowest, I'd say, amongst the actual currencies. So there you go, big clap for Litecoin. Well done, Litecoin. But I think in terms of actual utility, I would like to see more utility on MWeb more than ordinals. No offense, everyone. I think that's great, and I think it's awesome what you guys do and the art that you produce and the various use cases. But for me, I'd love to see more utility as a currency.
That's kind of a hard one. So every single thing that's been implemented on Litecoin has had a rallying cry from the community. And some of these things have been monumental changes. I mean, Segwit and Ordinals and MWeb. These are all started out as developer community type initiatives, grew a fan base, got utilized more and more and more, and rolled out larger into the community. I would say the number one piece of news that's come out before the summit, which was last week, was Fidelity adding Litecoin as the third cryptocurrency that they've added to their cryptocurrency digital offering segment. 12 trillion dollars in assets under management, and the third digital currency that they think of is, wow, you know what? This is valid. This is fairly launched. This is something that's not going to have difficult scrutiny under U.S. regulatory bodies. We're going to add it. And I think that's a rallying cry and a flag among every big, huge institution out there that what Charlie created and has now spurred on into a massive community movement is a valid and trustworthy currency for the future.
I actually like anything. I just like seeing use in general, like all kinds of usage on Litecoin. It's one of the coolest things about doing our events is everybody coming and seeing all the different, what everybody's doing on behalf of it's some of the best things that I see are when we see things outside of the foundation, people just, taking the liberty and just jumping on opportunities and experimenting and things like that, because, Litecoin's sort of been positioning itself to be open to those types of things. And it's great because at the end of the day, when we think about Bitcoin, it's not one foundation that it's driven it, it's community. And Litecoin is only here today because of not just Litecoin Foundation, but everybody. So I personally love seeing what everybody's doing. With that said, I think payments and watching payment adoption is huge for me. John, who was on just a couple of panels ago, he's right. Litecoin needs a really good story. And while payments may not be the only story, I think that's going to be a big story, because ultimately as payments grows, it's just going to be kind of too hard to ignore, in my opinion. And if we can build there and other people can continue to explore in other ways, I think that's a good direction.
For me, I'm excited about MWeb adoption. So this is something we've been working on for a while now. And I think we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel this year with more mobile wallets starting to support MWeb. So, most people use Litecoin on their phone. And not being able to use MWeb really prevented adoption of MWeb. So with more mobile wallets like Lite Wallet, Cake Wallet, and other wallets supporting MWeb, people can now easily see the power of MWeb, see how easy it is to send coins without everyone being able to see how many coins you send or how many coins are in your account. I think that's very important for basic financial privacy. So I'm excited about MWeb adoption and in the end using MWeb for payments.
Yeah, I think for me, working with other entities, I'm excited right now about what happened with Strike Mobile, because that's a non-crypto company coming to us asking for integration to where they can offer it to people, right? So that's exciting for me. But I also think after talking to John from Coinbase and asking him to go and talk to those 15 institutions and trading desks, hearing the feedback, I'm excited to tackle along with Jay and Robbie and anybody else who's going to be involved, Alan and Charlie and whoever wants to get involved, figuring out how to market to the institutions and those trading desks in some sort of whatever the manner is in which they receive that, and think about whether they want to do it or not. I want to tackle that. I think that's pretty exciting, and I know people like Jamil here in the front row. He's got over 20 plus years in that environment. He's offered to do that. I've had somebody else come and offer that as well. And so I think we have a good chance of breaking through that glass ceiling in those institutions. So that's something as well.
So this is a question for Charlie. So what is the actual strategy for MWeb? And is there any headwinds with regulators and stuff like that?
Well, the strategy right now, like I said, was to get MWeb supported on a lot of mobile wallets, so it's easy for people to use. When we initially launched MWeb, we've seen a little bit of pushback from exchanges, some delisting of Litecoin, but for the most part, seeing how MWeb is an opt-in protocol, most exchanges are fine with it. So I haven't really seen any regulatory pushback on that. But it is possible. It is definitely a possibility that we'll see more regulatory pushback and crackdowns on it, because we've seen a lot of issues with other kind of privacy-focused coins or tumblers seeing like regulatory action. So I'm keeping a close eye on it for sure.
And just to emphasize that optional point, if you're an exchange or you're some kind of body that already has accepted Litecoin in the way that you've accepted Litecoin for however long, you can continue to do that. MWeb is optional. So there's no reason for you. I think Binance doesn't accept money deposits from MWeb addresses. So they've just, decided to kind of opt out of any MWeb.
Well, to be specific, they're not using MWeb, but if you're using MWeb to send them money, they'll accept it. Like you can peg out directly to a Binance deposit address, and that's fine.
Which is good because, Binance is definitely one of the best regulated and ethical companies in the ecosystem, right? Like, if anyone's making decisions on what coins should be accepted and what shouldn't, they definitely should. So, hey, Binance. How you going?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, the creative director did it, which is fine because he has no power. He just colors in lines and stuff. Sorry, Charlie.
Can I ask you a personal question, Charlie? This might not be I've always wondered, do you ever regret when you released the MWeb thing, there was, exchanges, we lost some exchanges. I think Korea, right?
A few in Korea.
Yeah, so do you, looking back, do you kind of regret that decision, or maybe you could have did it in a better way, or you don't give a damn? I'm Charlie Lee.
It's there are trade-offs, right? I mean, you don't. Good things don't come easy, right? So we have to do what I think is, or what everyone thinks is best for Litecoin, right? I think fungibility and privacy makes Litecoin a better form of money than even Bitcoin, right? So I think it's a cause we're pursuing, and if we have a few exchanges delisting Litecoin, it won't kill us, and it's good overall, so it's worth it.
I don't think people realize yet in the crypto space just how important privacy is either, because the far majority of people that are holding coins as a store of value, it's not at the forefront, right? It's not as big of a concern. The minute you start transacting and creating this address and that address, all of a sudden this becomes a lot more important. So as things grow, I think this is going to become a huge thing for people, and we're trying to really kind of lead the way in what we believe is important with sound money. This was one thing that was missing, and it's a very basic level of privacy. Some people would like to have full privacy, right? And some people are okay with everything. It's certainly by choice, but this was kind of that balance of striking, hopefully, the right balance.
Yeah, if I could, I'd want to second one thing that Charlie was talking about. So these five exchanges in Korea, it's a very isolated example, and that's it, right? So it's been out for 2 years now, and all you had was, right from the beginning, these 5 exchanges in Korea, and you hear nothing else. Nobody else has ever dropped it. Nobody else has ever done anything to the opposite of what we were expecting to have happen. Not only that, but when Charlie announced during his keynote that you had BBVA, who is one of the largest international banks that serves a lot of Hispanic-speaking countries, come to us and ask us, they're doing their due diligence, and they ask us for all these different things. Very much aware of MWeb, provided them everything they needed for that, and they still decide this is absolutely appropriate for us. We're going to add it to our trading app in Turkey. I think that speaks volumes too, but nobody seems to hear that. They hear where a couple of media outlets go, oh my God, 5 exchanges in Korea have dropped it because of MWeb, and that's the last thing you hear, but yet that's the only thing everybody still talks about. So I think perception is skewed by one thing that happened 2 years ago, when in reality, absolutely everybody else is accepting it at this point.
I'm Korean, and I gave so much to that country as far as good looks and making Koreans great again on crypto. So I'm really gonna go there one day and give them a piece of mind. I'll make this happen. We'll get back in Korea. Trust me. John Kim don't say something and don't get it done, baby. All right, so I just got a text from Miss Teen Crypto. She said, "Can you please ask Charlie this question?" I'm kind of like weird, but she's like, "What is the percentage of Litecoin ETF being approved?" Sorry, I had to call you
I
out.
can't believe you did this to me, John.
I don't know. I can't predict the future, but Litecoin ETF, it's all about kind of demand, right? Institutional demand. So if there is demand that will happen, will be approved quite easily because it's so similar to Bitcoin. I think it's just a matter of time. Yeah.
So like 1 to 10, 1 being like never, 10 being like real fast. Where we at? Just give us a number.
Everyone's saying 5 in the audience, so I'm gonna say 6.
6. All right. All right, so lately, my boys at the foundation has gone global, right? Like, I've seen Zinji was in Dubai. We had Alan in Vegas, David in San Jose, and Mr. Robbie over there with Dry Humor in Australia. What is the reason for all these movements and you guys just going everywhere? And,
Well, it's global, right?
yeah, what is the purpose of it?
Like-
Is there like a planned?
We're just
behind-
having fun
behind the
traveling the
scene?
world.
Traveling?
Yeah. Which reminds me, I've got some receipts. No, but I think for me, coming here, it's really special from like just a sentimental point of view. I don't know whether everyone looked at my Twitter thread, but I got married at a Litecoin Summit and, special. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we don't have to clap for anything I say. It's fine. It's cool. Thank you, though.
You got married to Litecoin, right?
I invited you, Charlie, because I needed a witness, and it ended up having to be the photographer. So that's cool. I can't remember his name.
I had a segregated witness joke, but I'm not going to say it. But
That's all right. I'm a big block kind of guy, you know what I mean? I'm not. Can I finish? Is that all right? But I guess from this perspective, it's really a tradition. But in terms of like us being present and having a presence elsewhere across the world, I think it's really important. There's a bit of a maybe misconception to some extent that we are domiciled in the United States and that we're really run out of here, and there is a significant presence here. And so I think it's an active push to make sure that we are seen as a global entity. Entity is the wrong word, but it's a global currency. It's a currency that is for use everywhere. So why wouldn't we be everywhere?
And I'll add to that everyone's inviting us. So there are conferences and mining operations that are speaking things in Mexico, which Alan just went to. There are people inviting Charlie from every country you can think off the top of your head. They want to hear from us. They're having Web3 conferences, they want Litecoin there. They're having blockchain conferences, they want us there. They're having Bitcoin conferences, they want to hear from a different perspective. So it is kind of a demand thing. We could be speaking at a lot more conferences. So I think it's good for us to be out there and be in different communities and different places and really let everybody know what's going on. Because the last 2 days, there's a lot going on in the Litecoin community.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 words I could think of, like personal touch. I mean, there's something to be said for doing some things in person, especially in this day and age. And you just, there's certain connections and networking and being able to counter FUD. I mean, all these things, like here today. I mean, this last 2 days, hopefully I hope everybody's had a good time and enjoyed and learned themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's good to get away from the computer once in a while and get out there. And, it's an opportunity for us to do that and kind of spread the word and do our part.
all right, so I got this text from somebody in the crowd. They want to remain anonymous because it's kind of, I'm going to read it, okay?
So basically, you wanted to ask us a question.
No. Come on, I don't use these words. Why does Litecoin still get so much hate sometimes? It does everything it's supposed to with zero downtime, with capital zero. It's not an IC or centralized project, and Charlie has been working on it for just under 7 years. Capital AFTER selling. 7 years after selling, which is equal to or even more time than between the time you created then sold.
I'll take this just because I'm going to be the most controversial. Like, I don't care about any of that stuff. So those people aren't necessarily the people that are going to have Litecoin long term. Litecoin's got an exceptionally strong community. It is being used more than almost any other cryptocurrency. If not, it's the most used cryptocurrency. It is not a fad. People love fads. You know, do you remember when people used to wear those flare pants that I wore yesterday? You know, like stuff like that. Fads come and go, and people always love the new shiny thing. And if you've just been doing what you were designed to do, as in function as a modern day currency, for nearly 13 years with zero downtime, I'm cool with that. I think that's success. That's what success looks like. It's not, being fancy. Sorry. That's the creative director.
David, you have anything to say?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that the time from when Charlie sold to the time we're sitting here right now is actually longer than before that period from when he created it to when he sold. And he's sitting here right now with us, and he's been active every day. Everything you see happen with it has something of his his fingerprints on it. How can you honestly say that he's ditched the project when, in fact, the only reason it's here financially in any respect right now is because of Charlie? I went to a conference in Santa Clara, and you saw Ari Yu up here today. I met her at that conference, and the first thing she asked is, why did Charlie leave the project? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm seeing him for lunch today. And she was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, he's active literally all the time on the project. You're listening to people that are out in the Twitter spaces and everywhere else. And when you say something often enough, it becomes reality for a lot of people. When in reality, the reality is it's the exact opposite of that. But because he's such an unassuming person, he's very modest, he doesn't like attention. You're not going to see him going out there and pounding on tables and saying, I'm here and I'm doing this and I've done that and I'm spending this and whatever else. You're not going to get that. But at some point, you have to understand that when you see him sitting here and you see him talking on podcasts and you see him going out to conferences, all of these things mean that he's still here. But just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening.
I'll answer the question. I'll answer the question a little bit differently. I think the negativity doesn't really have a lot to do with Charlie. That might be a small spangle of people. The negativity is that we're in a speculative industry, and everybody is concentrated on how they can get rich quick. They want to buy something and watch the price go up every single day and have it be double-digit increases. And Litecoin isn't doing that because it's so liquid. It's available everywhere. And that is one of the beauties of liquidity, is that a currency doesn't fluctuate or as volatile as it can be. Down the street, that's what they're concentrating on. When is going to hit $100,000?
And Jay, just on that.
When is the price going to go up? And I think this is one of the most beautiful parts of Litecoin is how established it is. And I believe that Litecoin is no longer an altcoin.
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to echo something there because I think it's a really salient point. In their submission to the CFTC, Coinbase made comparisons between the volatility of Litecoin and gold. And over a prolonged period, I can't remember exactly how long, but over a prolonged period in the exact same time frame, it was less volatile than gold. And you think about gold always being pegged is a terrible word, isn't it? But put up as one of the poster childs of I guess stability and security and store of value, wealth. Yet Litecoin's been less volatile, and so I don't want to say it's inevitable that something like a spot ETF will happen, but if I was a lawmaker, if I was someone in an institution, I would be looking at the thing that is less volatile than gold, that has all the upsides and all the attributes of a digital currency.
I think, and I guess we're
almost out of
But
time.
just your question was, why does it get so much hate? And my first thought was like this meme of a Bitcoin maxi saying, "I hate the fact that I have to use Litecoin to transact." Right? It's kind of like, but there's that kind of hate too, right? There's this, but I think it's two things. It's education. A lot of people come into the space and they're just taught something to learn that this is the right thing, this is the bad thing, and it's also just frankly price. And it's not just Litecoin; it's anything. I mean, how many things have we invested in where maybe the price doesn't perform as quickly or as well as you want, and you get frustrated? And I think there's kind of a combination of those things. But I don't think it's specific to Litecoin. I think it's easy to think that when you're really involved in one space. But I think this happens everywhere, and we just focus on adoption, and I think everything else will follow.
All right, so we're almost out of time. I got two more questions real quick.
All right, go ahead. It is funny that, I mean, a lot of people like lose money from buying Litecoin and they hate on me for selling. I see that online every now and then, or like every day, I would say. And then sometimes I would ask them, like, when did you get in? They're like, 2000. Or sorry, 2020. I'm like, well, that's after I sold. You bought Litecoin after I sold, and you're still upset that I sold. I'm like, you've known this for like since you bought Litecoin. But yeah, they always find it, like, people lose money. It's very like personal, and they find excuses for why.
So I just want to know that wasn't anonymous. It wasn't me. Are you happy with the answer, Johnny Litecoin? Okay. All right, so we're going to move on. We got a couple more questions. Johnny, you asked, bro. Don't even act like. All right, so Indigo. Can you give us a brief description of the Indigo bounty program real quick? And then I got one last question, and then we might have to call
I'll
it a
make
day.
it quick. Indigo is a community member who, on his own, decided to create a bounty program, and this bounty program was facilitating contributions that were then used for development on Litecoin in different ways. And it was really successful, and it was encouraging to see somebody outside of the foundation doing something that was making such an impact. And so what we did was, in order to provide him a larger umbrella and a bigger voice to be able to do this, we asked him if he would like to do that, with the foundation and have the foundation, backing it and providing him some resources, giving him some of the things he would need in order to expand that and take it even further, which he's done. The man's amazing, and I'm very, very appreciative of everything that he's been doing. And he's the exact thing that you would want out of somebody who contributes and doesn't necessarily care if he's getting any attaboys or anything special out of it. He does it because he cares and he wants to see something happen that's special. And so to be able to take that program and bring it under the foundation and give him an amplified voice and be able to make development happen even quicker is a great thing. So Indigo, if you're here or if you're not here, it doesn't matter, but if everybody could just give him a hand.
And he just got 20 Litecoin, right?
All right, one last question. Are we here? Oh, what's up?
I'm new to the Litecoin family. I'm so happy to be here with my wife and support the foundation. I'm with Brother Kim. You guys did an amazing job. It's a lifetime journey, a marathon. I'm in for life. We're blessed. Thank all of you. And let's kick ass.
All right. All right. And the last question is, this is what everybody's been wanting to ask. I actually recently bought a Litecoin extra, like medium Speedos to prepare for this birthday cruise. People are asking, are we going to have another, Litecoin birthday cruise up in the sea? Yes or no, Mr. Charlie?
David.
Not
Yes,
if we have
sir.
to see you in Speedos. That's
I'm not going to.
No banana hammocks allowed. Sorry.
We're definitely doing another cruise.
Woo!
Question is,
Hey, who went to the last one?
we got
Guys,
one
come.
person.
It is so fun. It is so fun. You should see him do the surf thing. He's unbelievable. And me and my Speedos, I'm telling you, that's a sight. You have never seen an Asian man in a Speedo, okay? Until you've seen me. All right. So before we end this, I want everybody to give us one last word to send us off to end this summit in a good way. We'll start from the sexy guy with green pants, which I do not understand. But
Integrity. Well, I think integrity is good. If you maintain your integrity, things will go all right.
I'll say scalability. I don't know if you remember earlier this year, Bitcoin added ordinals, and there was this huge clog up, and Bitcoin slowed down, and then suddenly Litecoin transactions were more than Ethereum and Bitcoin combined every single day. That is the beauty that I think Litecoin has in its pocket for the future, is scalability, and MWeb gives it maybe another 10x scalability on top of that. So Litecoin can handle the traffic.
I just want to say a big thanks to everyone, our speakers, sponsors, volunteers, everyone here that's been here. You guys make this happen. A particular shout out to Rebecca and Jeremy and Peter on the volunteers on the core team that busting their ass to make this happen. And they've been doing this for several years. David as well, busting his butt, nonstop. And yeah, and everybody else.
I'll say this.
Reaction. Thank you, reaction. Sir.
I was living with Alan for a little bit, and I saw the amount of stress and time they put in, like talking to trying to get this happen while I was, chilling on the couch watching, Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I'm just telling you, it is so much work than you can ever imagine. So I just want to say, I know, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone that came here and made this happen. Dave.
You're last.
He's always last.
Like you're special or something. I don't know. I'd say balance. Probably the perfect example for me was actually putting this thing together. Alan is an incredible, very detail-oriented person. I'm more of a big idea guy. You put those two together and you get what you have here today. So, but you can take balance and actually put that across the whole thing, right? So anybody that's within the community, it's balance that makes things work. And so going back to the Indigo thing, I'd love to see more balance actually brought out from everybody in a way that it's able to magnify beyond just us.
All right, Charlie, are you ready?
Yeah, so I want to thank David and Alan and the whole team for putting this summit together. They did an amazing job. I think you guys can all agree to that. And it's like the summit that I've done the least amount of work. So I'm very happy about it. I just showed up, and it's all like I haven't seen like the setup and everything. I was busy with other things, and it's amazing that I just came here and I just saw the work they did. I'm really impressed. So big round of applause for the whole team. And before we end the summit, I have a big announcement to make.
Big, huge.
I'm going to buy back. No, I'm not going to do that. But I do have a big announcement. So one thing about the Litecoin Foundation, as you all know, is because Litecoin was launched fairly, as you all know. We didn't print money for ourselves, right? Unlike most of the other coins. So we don't have a lot of funding. So some coins have like millions of dollars funding. They hire like 100 developers. You've heard the story. That's crazy. We pay for like 2 developers for the amount of stuff we do. But, so because of that, the Litecoin Foundation is very lean, and we run off a like $200K, $300K a year budget every year, and we run off of like donations and merchandise sales and some partnership funds, and it's tough. Like Alan has a tough job trying to decide which projects we want to pursue, and most of the projects that come to us that want help for funding or whatnot, we had to kind of turn them down because we don't have funding. So I kind of want to change that, and to do that, I want to commit donation to the Litecoin Foundation personally for myself. So I'm committing today a donation of $250,000 a year for the next 5 years. And $50,000 of that would go towards matching any donation to the Lightspace Bounty Program. And so it's a matching donation. I want to actually entice people in the community, because this is decentralized currency, right? I want to entice people in the community to also support the foundation. So I'll match $50,000 to any donation, to up to $50,000 for donation to the Lightspace Bounty Program. So that will go towards bounty projects, and $200,000 to any money that gets donated to the Litecoin Foundation itself. And that will really help fund Litecoin Foundation for the next 5 years, and we can do a lot more with that money. And now that we have a 501c3, your donations will be tax deductible in the US. So let's all help make Litecoin succeed.
Hey, Charlie, can I get an application? I'm ready to, now that you're not lean anymore, I kind of need a job, son, so.
Yeah, you can apply to a bounty. Anyone can apply their projects to Lightspace Bounty Program.
All right. Thank you, everyone.